You are a person who has been traveling a lot in China, and I know the first time we were discussing the development of sustainability in China, then you were already there working on a lot of local markets, and I think the Asian economy is something growing, and the global compact also has a position in China. What is how can you see what's going to happen in China the coming years on based on sustainability and leadership?
Well, it's interesting. When my first trip to China to talk about the compact, a lot of people said, well, you're not going to be very successful because the first thing you're going to talk about is human rights and you'll get thrown out. Uh, Quite on the contrary, the people in government that I spoke with uh, were very fascinated and very grateful in a way to Kofi Annan and Georg Kell and John Ruggie, who were some of the pioneers, for the compact, because I think they could see how this fit with their idea of a harmonious society and the role that business has to play in developing a harmonious society. So there was some sort of a natural fit there. And there's a long, long way to go for China to reach this goal of a harmonious society. Deng Xiaoping, I think, set out a strategy in the late 1980s, and he said from 1990 to 2000, the goal was to double the GDP. From 2000 to 2010, the goal was to double the GDP. From 2010 to 2050 was to make China a harmonious modern country. And so there was a realization that you had to make sure that people had enough to eat, and we know that led to some abuses, especially environmental abuses, but that was the strategy that was set. And I think you'll see now more and more first of all, realization that Mother Nature, that the environment is a critical stakeholder and has to be looked at and treated correctly, and if not, the costs are too high, and whatever you do is not sustainable. Also, that you have to include all people in a country if you're going to have a harmonious society. You can't just work with the elite, and that's a very difficult thing to play. So what I see now is more action on the part of companies to understand their role in building a harmonious society, and that they will see that their purpose is to generate wealth, but the wealth is not only economic wealth. It's social wealth, it's environmental wealth, it's moral wealth, and this has been very, very well defined by the leaders of China when they talk about harmonious society. Not in detail, there's no real roadmap, but Deng Xiaoping also says the way you cross a river is by feeling out each stone as you go, and then you start understanding the better ways of crossing.
So my last question, in front of the 10 years conference in New York in June, what do you think the biggest challenge for Global Compact will be in that conference?
Well, I guess it will really be how to ensure that the compact not only remains relevant, but becomes even more relevant in shaping business thinking and supporting business leaders who do want to bring about change. I think that's the main thing. How does the compact really support its stakeholders? And of course, the compact is a tremendous experiment, and I think one of the places is an experiment in terms of building platforms, but it's also an experiment in terms of stakeholder governance. And it's very easy if you're at the top to say, well, let's forget the stakeholders for a few minutes and we'll do things our way. It's much more efficient. And the compact has been very, I would say, especially Georg Kell, very working very hard to ensure that this remains a stakeholder-based organization. And as such, it's a tremendous example for business and other types of organizations around the world. So I think how to have a good discussion, a good dialogue with the stakeholders, so that the new compact, and when I say new compact, I don't think anybody's going to say that there'll be a new compact after the 24th of June. I think there's a new compact every day. It's a constantly dynamic, evolving platform, process, if you like, and I think that will be one of the goals of the meeting, of the summit, to ensure really another step forward in the development.
Thank you, Fred.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.